I knew something was wrong the second I walked in. Picture this. I'd just spent 2 weeks in Bali, sunburned and happy, sand still stuck between my toes, thinking I'd come home to that smell you only get after a place sits closed up for a while. Instead, I walk in, and there's this muddy footprint right smack in the middle of my hardwood floor, just staring up at me like it owned the place. That's the kind of thing that makes your heart skip, you know? So, I drop my suitcase, bam, right on the tile, don't even care, and start tracing this trail, moving through my living room where the coffee table's out of place, about 6 inches off center, which, trust me, I would never leave it like that. At first, nothing's missing, but the whole house feels off, like someone's been in your room touching your stuff. It's not what's gone, it's what's different. Then, on the fridge, I see it. A bright yellow sticky note, all neat and tidy, routine inspection. Nothing to worry about. Signed, Karen Williams, HOA President. My stomach just dropped. Who does a routine inspection in someone's locked house while they're halfway across the world? And look, I'm not some rookie. Before I left, I set everything up, random light timers, paused the mail, and even asked Tom across the street to keep an eye out. We live in Pinewood Estates, you know, the kind of place you buy into. Because you think the rules and those ridiculous HOA fees mean you're safe. I called Tom right away, trying not to sound freaked out. He said he saw Karen's car parked outside last week. Figured she was just dropping off newsletters. That's it. He didn't see anyone go in. I grabbed my phone, pulled up my home security app, and there she was, clear as day, Tuesday afternoon. Striding up in her pink suit, glancing around, pulling out a key, and just letting herself in. Not 5 minutes, not 10, 40 minutes inside, poking through my things, opening my fridge, flipping through my mail. It made my blood boil. So, I did what anybody would do. I drove straight over to Karen's place. If you've never seen it, you'd laugh. Perfect hedges, perfectly clean welcome mat, and a big shiny HOA president sign like it's her job title and birthright all at once. She opens the door all chipper. Oh, you're back from vacation. How was Bali? She's got this step forward smile that never quite reaches her eyes. I didn't play along. I asked straight out. Why were you in my house, Karen? She just shrugs, says it's a routine wellness check for my own protection. I say, show me where it says in the bylaws you can come into my home. She starts waving her hand, says it's unwritten policy, that as president she can do what she needs to keep standards high. But I'm an attorney. I'd read every line of that contract before signing. No such thing. Unless there's a fire or a burst pipe, nobody's allowed inside. So now I'm suspicious. Maybe it's not just me. Over the next couple days, I go door to door, casual-like. And you know what? Folks start telling stories. Little things. Picture frames moved, lights left on, Karen's car parked out front when people were gone. Nobody ever thought to confront her because, well, she's got this reputation. One guy, Martin, he tells me she let herself in while he was in the hospital last year. Said she wanted to make sure he wasn't violating any codes. People are scared of her. She once fined a neighbor for leaving a trash can out too long. Now I'm collecting evidence, security footage, notes from neighbors, even a copy of the HOA rules. Then, someone tips me off that Karen's been digging through people's stuff, looking for reasons to find them, trying to force out folks she doesn't like. Personal grudges dressed up as community safety. That's when I decide to act. I file a police report for unlawful entry. Then I put together a presentation, every detail lined up, and wait for the monthly HOA meeting. The community center's packed. People sense something's about to go down. Karen's up at the front with her little gavel, looking pleased with herself. When new business comes up, I stand and announce I've got a security concern. You could feel the room hold its breath. I plug in my laptop, and up on the big screen, Karen, clear as day, entering my house, spending 40 minutes snooping around. The board's watching, the neighbors are all wide-eyed, and I explain, this isn't just a rule violation, it's against state law. Karen goes red, slams her gavel, shouts that this is all for the good of the community. I play testimony after testimony. Martin, the other neighbors. The board starts shifting in their seats. And then, twist, 2 cops quietly slip in the back. I keep talking, laying out the rules. Emergency keys are for emergencies, period. No exceptions. Karen sees the officers, starts to unravel. You need someone to keep people in line, she shouts. Otherwise, they'll paint their houses purple, put flamingos everywhere, ruin property values. Now the mask is off. She points at me. You left. Your garbage can out. Your blinds are the wrong color. She's spiraling. One officer steps forward. Mrs. Williams, you're under arrest for trespassing, unlawful entry, abuse of authority. Karen goes pale, then red, then starts shrieking. I'm the HOA president. Who's going to make sure everyone follows the rules now? As they read her rights, the room is dead quiet. Nobody's gloating, but you can feel the relief. With Karen gone, the board calls an emergency vote for a new president. Unanimous. Nobody wants her job now. 3 months later, I'm sitting in the courthouse. As Karen stands trial, she argues the HOA gives her special powers, but the judge isn't buying it. Guilty, multiple counts, breaking and entering, trespassing, and she gets sentenced to 18 months and a hefty fine. The best part? As she's let out, she yells, "Who's going to keep you people in line?" This time, nobody answers. So what do you think? Was Karen a necessary evil? Or just another bully in a power suit? Have you ever dealt with an HOA nightmare like this? Drop your story or your opinion in the comments. I read every single one. Let's talk about where the line is between safety and control, and who gets to draw it. And hey, if you believe in standing up for your own home, hit that like button and join the conversation, because these stories are just getting started. Now, if you think that was the end of my HOA drama, you don't know Pinewood Estates. See, after Karen got hauled away and the gavel finally landed on someone else's desk, you'd think things would settle down, right? But no, that's when the real circus rolled into town, because suddenly, everyone realized the emperor had no clothes, and nobody really knew who was in charge anymore. The new interim president, old Mr. Shipley, he's the guy with the squeaky golf cart and the world's slowest mailbox, bless his heart, was about as comfortable running meetings as a cat in a dog park. The first board meeting after Karen's arrest felt like group therapy. People started airing all the petty stuff they'd been bottling up for years. I mean, you had folks arguing about mailbox paint, garden gnomes, and whether Miss Ellen's wind chimes were unapproved metallic decor or just festive ambience. I almost laughed, except it was my neighbors, and they were dead serious. And just when things couldn't get weirder, that's when the HOA records scandal dropped. Turns out, Karen, ever the control freak, kept her own private stash of documents. She'd been making her own unofficial rulebook on the side, complete with blacklists of homeowners she didn't like and lists of potential violations to investigate. Somebody found it all on an old USB stick jammed into the bottom drawer of her HOA office desk, right next to a bag of stale pretzels and a stack of novelty Queen Karen pens. Once word got out, the neighborhood split into 2 camps. You had the let's forgive and move on crew, mostly the folks who'd gotten off easy under Karen, and then you had the rest of us, the ones who'd had our garbage cans cited, our door colors questioned, or been accused of violating shrub height regulations. It got ugly. People started sharing stories I'd never heard before. One couple, the Sotos, told me Karen threatened to fine them $100 a day if they didn't cut down a tree that had been on their lot since the 60s. Another neighbor admitted Karen used to show up on her porch, unannounced, clipboard in hand, whenever her grandkids visited. The mood around here got tense. Every week, it seemed like somebody else came forward, wanting to add their voice to the police report or demand restitution for old fines. And then came the letters, anonymous, typed, slipped under doors late at night, blaming me for destroying community order and warning that property values don't protect themselves. Like I was the villain for exposing the whole mess. Yeah, that happened. But you know what? Something else started to shift. For the first time since I moved here, neighbors actually started talking, like really talking, on the sidewalks, at the mailboxes, even over back fences. Folks who'd barely nodded at each other for years now traded HOA horror stories and tips on how to get through the next election. I found myself invited to barbecues, asked for legal advice, and once, hilariously, dragged into a midnight mission to rescue a plastic flamingo someone had liberated from a neighbor's yard as a joke. We called a special meeting and rewrote half the bylaws, clarified the emergency entry rules, set clear limits on board power, made sure everyone could see HOA budgets in minutes. We even started a community group chat, No more secret notes, no more backroom deals. And yeah, it took a while. Old habits die hard. There's still the occasional spat over driveway stains, or how many pumpkins is too many for Halloween. But at least now, the fights happen in the open. A couple of months later, when Karen's sentencing made the local news, the reporter showed up to interview us. They asked if I thought all HOAs were corrupt, or if our neighborhood would ever really heal. I told them, look, rules matter, but trust matters more. The minute you give someone too much power, without oversight, you invite trouble, whether you're talking about a neighborhood or the whole country. People need to feel safe in their own homes. They need to feel heard, not hunted. So that's where things stand now. Our little neighborhood, trying to figure out what community really means, one conversation and one not-so-scary board meeting at a time. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's ours again. And I guess that's the big lesson. You can't just leave your peace of mind in someone else's hands. You have to show up, ask questions, and sometimes, kick up a little dust. Now it's your turn. Have you ever stood up to a bully, HOA or otherwise? Did your neighborhood ever have to learn things the hard way? Tell me your stories down below. Or just let me know if you think we got it right, or if the pendulum swung too far the other way. Hit like, subscribe, and share this if you've ever wished your HOA would just mind its own business. For once, I'll be here, reading every comment and hoping the next story I share is a little less crazy. But knowing the way life works, I kinda doubt it.